Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm sitting down to do my mini Gorjuss layout for the month of March. I decided to go for this beautiful little girl. She is the Santoro mini stamp, number 59, Flying above it all. And I decided that I was going to do another sky background. I love skies. Skies is my most favorite thing to do. Look how little this little girl is. She is considerably smaller compared to February's girl, and even smaller than January's girl, who I thought was really small. Since she is flying above it all, I thought it was important to put something at the bottom of the layout. I have this lawn fawn die cut of houses next to skies. Houses is one of my most favorite things, so I thought I would put houses at the bottom and that she was flying above the houses trying to escape homework. For the media, for the coloring, I decided to use my Dina Wakley Scribble Sticks. I love these scribble sticks. They are so pigmented. I thought that I would use a few colors to make the sky. The three colors that I chose are sky for the really light blue, and I'm applying the light blue to the majority of the layout. I'm tilting the crayon. I shouldn't say crayon, but because crayons have wax, this has no wax, so I should maybe call it the stick. I'm tilting the stick on an angle so as not to create scratches in the paper, if you know what I mean. I'm using the night, which is a really dark blue at the very top and hardly any of it, and the bottom I'm using the black. Now, instead of using water, I didn't want to create like a soppy background. I'm really feeling like this book is starting to get really precious, and I'm so wary of perhaps doing something to destroy it and then, destroying my previous works of art. So I thought I would mix with white acrylic paint, and this does such a beautiful job. The acrylic paint also creates a little bit of strength to the paper, so I'm really happy with how this feels. It's not wet. That's the most important thing. I'm using a round brush, which I do change a little bit later. I just keep going back to the paint. I'm not getting enough brush strokes. I think I was feeling quite frustrated and I didn't know why, and now in editing I can see that I'm using too small a paintbrush. So I created upward strokes for the black, and I really love that because it will shadow the houses when I do realize here that I'm adding there's too much water here, so I sop that up and I make sure that, take it off the paintbrush as well. And from there, just go straight into the acrylic paint. I'm kind of spreading from left to right in a swishing motion, and I love how this looks because she's on a bird and because she's up in the sky, you've got a lot of wind there. So I love this motion from left to right. It creates so much movement up there in the sky, and I'm loving how this looks. So beautiful. I then just apply a little bit of, brush strokes, paint marks with my paintbrush, just adding more texture to the background, and I'm just finishing up the sides there along the spine so that there's no white. Moving on now to stamping my image. She is going to go on with archival jet black ink. This is the first time I stamp her. She doesn't stamp too well here, so I go again, and I think I put on too much because I didn't like how stark she was, so I did a second one, and I just do one stamp and it stamps really well. So don't forget, when you use brand new stamps, stamp them out a couple of times to get them going. I did decide to go ahead and continue with the Dina Wakley sticks. I realize now that the camera is focused on my fingers more than the work, so it's a little bit blurry here. So I'll just show you really quickly the colors that I used for the girl. I'm just using my paintbrush to touch the scribble stick. I used turquoise for the bird, which is so cute. I used blackberry for her dress, which is gorgeous, and the black for her hair. I didn't know how to color her skin, so at first I thought I would just mix a little bit of brown with a little bit of yellow and then white, and then I hated how it looked. It wasn't mixing very well on the paper, so I went back in with my acrylic white paint to cover it all up. Then I just went with my good old Prima watercolors. I use this set for skin all the time, and I don't mind mixing. Just because I started off with Dina Wakley doesn't mean I have to stay with Dina Wakley sticks all the way. It's more important for me to get a good skin color than to stay with the product, if you know what I mean. Once everything's done, I do go back in to do a little bit of layering, a little bit of shading, and adding some extra vibrant colors. I adore this bird. This bird is so cute. I need to give this bird a name. And look how gorgeous this looks. I'm so in love with this little girl and her pet bird. Can you imagine just, getting sick of it all, hopping on your bird, and then going for a ride around the neighborhood? This is what this little girl decided to do. She got home one day from school, got stuck doing homework, thought, you know what, I'm gonna go for a ride around the block on my bird. And so she did. I used black cardstock to cut the houses, and then I decided that I wanted to add a little bit of gold cardstock in the back to make it look like the houses had lights on, so that there were people home making dinner while she was flying around the neighborhood. And I really love how this looks. I'm going to place the houses more towards the bottom to give the sky more precedence here in this layout. And I'm just attaching that on with double-sided tape. Really loving how this is looking. I then went away for a little bit to try to think of more elements to add here without detracting from the little girl and from the houses. I started to edge her with my stamp pad, and then I thought, I'm playing with fire here because it's most likely going to smudge all over her. So I grabbed my Tombow and I ink her edges this way. I was looking for a veneer cloud. That would have been perfect. I don't really have much wood veneer, so I found this beautiful metal charm of a hot air balloon, and I loved how it was very little because it was able to put things in perspective. I also have the sticker pad, and I love the saying here that says, "Be the girl who decided to go for it." I love that it's clear. I just love how the words just seem to appear coming out of the neighborhood. I think that's just so charming. I love how the words are also colored. I think if they were black, it would have been too stark. You're still able to see that gorgeous swishy feeling of the clouds and the air in the background. I love how this came together. I have this adorable pack of puffy hearts that Auntie Vera hunted around for me. Thank you so much, Vera. These are just perfect. I decided to pick the colors that went with the sentiment. And I then went in with my Jelly Roll white pen, and I just added a little bit of maybe highlights here and there. I went around the hearts. I thought that was kind of cute. I then decided to just do like dots, little clusters of 3 dots throughout the background. I don't know why, I kind of just felt like I was doodling. I added a little bit of white gel pen to her hair. I don't know why I did this, because when I stopped and looked away and then looked back, I thought, my gosh, she looks like an old lady with white hair. Why did I do that? So I then went back in with my Sharpie and then added some black just to tone that out. And I think that looks a little bit better now. She doesn't look like an old little lady. And that's my layout for March. Let's have a look at how the 3 pages are looking together. I'm in love with this book. This book is so beautiful. I am really enjoying this series, and I hope you are too. Stay tuned for the next layouts coming up once a month for the rest of 2018. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you in my next video.